Greetings, test taking weekend warriors. This is the Series 7 Guru coming to you from my studio here in fabulous Las Vegas. I'm working my way through explication requests. We got a lot of very good ones that came in. You can also submit these for our live stream on Tuesday. We've had some great results this last week, so I would expect to have a lot of test takers popping in, and I have some debrief that I'll start the session. We start our live streams by going over questions that were submitted prior to the start of the live stream. Then we do some debriefs, and then we answer any questions live during that 1 hour. Anyways, this one, let me get a whiteboard for this one. I will in the comment put a link to my little, I don't know, 45 minutes on non-equity options. This is a non-equity option. It says an investor purchases an S&P 100, an OEX. So let's put that there, purchased one OEX, July 720 call. Now, and the premium is 6.5. Now, I usually tell people that, they have more in common than they do differences. What I mean by this is if you didn't know the OEX was an index, you'd probably have no problem answering questions like this, right? If I didn't tell you that was an index, the S&P 100, and I asked, what's the break even? You'd say 720, 6.5. What's the loss? 6.5 points. What's the gain? Unlimited. Are you bullish or bearish? You'd say bullish. So more things in common. It's just the OEX is not a stock, it's an index. There are some things that you should know about indexes. Index options settle T+1 like every other option contract, but exercise is also T+1. That's a little different. Remember, if it's a stock, you have to actually deliver the stock. If you have an obligation to sell and you get exercise, you're going to have to deliver the stock, and that's T+2 to deliver the stock. If you're short a put and you have a choice to sell and you'll sell the stock, it would be T+2. So in equity options, it's T+1 for the contract, T+2 for the exercise. But in index options, it's the T+1, T+1. You also should know that index options settle in cash. Here I have a choice, right? I'm long this call, so I'm bullish on the index. Again, the strategies are all the same, by the way, right? I'm bullish here, it's just on the index. And if I, was thinking about the whole market is going to go up or down, why would I want to, for example, buy a put on every stock in my portfolio if what I'm worried about is systematic risk? What I would do is buy a put on the index that most closely approximates my portfolio. So, index options allow you to separate systematic risk and reward using index options from selection risk and reward where you would not be using an index. Anyways, I always like to make my tea. So I'm getting my tea fired up. Going to track the money in and out. Let me get a bigger font for that. And that's going to be an opening purchase. And that's going to be dollars out. Remember, opening purchases are used to establish or add to long positions. I like to use dollars out. Some people like to use debit. Some people like to use a minus sign. Whatever floats your boat. Let me put that in red. And let me make it a smaller font. And let's get that over here. And then I like to use dollars in, but some people like to use credit. Some people like to use a plus, whatever floats your boat. So this is all called the setup, by the way. The more time you set on the setup, the better you're going to be. So that's 6.5 out. And so remember, if this was a stock and I exercised, if this was a stock and I'd say, okay, well, I want to buy the stock at 720. But that's not how index options work. So if I exercise this, that's not what's going to happen. I'm going to get whatever the intrinsic value is. So if I go to close this out, let's just get a little arrow here. right? I did an opening purchase, so the way I close that out is to do a closing sale. All right, so let's see what the question says. Question says, he exercises the option when the index is, now, when they give me a price, what I like to do is put it above or below my strike. And so they tell me here that it's 731.26. And so what I like to do is put that above my strike price as my current market price. I'm going to put that there where I can do that. And that's label that current market price. And so if I exercise, remember when I exercise in an index option, very testable, what I get is the intrinsic value. So the person who sold this, who's short, is going to deliver to me 11.26. Now, remember, we have to have our multiplier here. Let's make it match up a little bit. Let's put it in green for money in. Be careful. You know, we have some practice questions where sometimes they're not asking you the profit or loss. They're merely asking you, you know, what would you receive? In which case this would be 11.26. Now, remember, though, we have a multiplier. So I'm not quite done that. So I like to do it on a points per share kind of a basis. But, you know, whatever floats your boat. My arithmetic is kind of suspect. So I'm always going to use a calculator. I'm going to take 11.26. What I'm doing is netting money out versus money in, minus 6.5. And I find out the difference is 4.76. And then remember, the multiplier is 100. So times one contract times 100. And that's going to be $476 is going to be my profit. Right. So, by the way, I was right about all three things. When you buy an option contract, you got to be right about three things. Direction, I said the index is going up. I'm bullish. I got to be right about how far up. I said at least 6.5 points north of 720 because I got to cover my out-of-pocket cost. And I said all this is going to take place between now and expiration in July. So I'm a big winner. That's not a bad return. What is that? Almost double my money. That's one reason people buy options, leverage. So by way of review, let's just put it in test phraseology. An investor purchased an S&P OEX July 720 call at 6.5. He exercises when the S&P 100, the OEX, is at 731.26. What is the profit or loss? And we determined it was $476. And then make sure you know that index options are T+1 on the contract, T+1 on the exercise, and they settle in cash. And again, I'll put the link to my non-equity option content that's on the channel in the comment box. Okay, I got about 2 or 3 more of these over the weekend. So like I say, the guru is doing pro bono work, and I'll share these and space them out as in between tutoring sessions. All right. Remember, inch by inch, series 7 is a cinch. Yard by yard, series 7 is hard.